Howdy folks, and welcome to another Taste of Gameplay video, this time for the British Tier 8 Premium Submarine, the Alliance. I guess the HMS Alliance. As always, these videos are designed to give you a sample of the gameplay of the ship, not to be an exhaustive analysis. I recommend the Wargaming Wiki or other content creators. So there are a lot of interesting things to talk about with the Alliance, and with this game in particular. This game is going to be a fun one to watch, but it's going to be a little bit frustrating because it's going to be a blowout against us. Even though my flank is going to play reasonably well, and I'm going to play well and personally have a good game, this game is unsalvageable. And the Alliance has a variety of interesting facts about her. For one thing, I think she looks really cool. She's got this very intimidating con tower. Looks really cool. Does not have any guns at all. Has extremely long dive capacity. I'm at 5 minutes and 25 seconds, as you can see. So you can basically just sit there essentially for forever. Has two kinds of torpedoes. The homing torpedoes go to 10K. The non-homing torpedoes go to 7K. The homing torpedoes don't do very much damage. It's 5,700. But they reload every 30 seconds. You get all 4 torpedoes. They go very slow, I believe 42 knots. So like ships can literally outrun them. Some ships can outrun them. They're almost like airplane torpedoes. But what I really want to talk about with the Alliance, what I'm going to spend most of the time talking about, is Wargaming's nasty habit of having, I guess, what I would call magic numbers. So there is a number in the game, and it is the distance at which acoustic homing torpedoes stop homing to their target. Even if the target has been pinged, there's nothing wrong with the homing torpedoes. It's just for game design reasons, they decided that the homing torpedoes would stop homing at a very short distance to the enemy ship to give them at least a fighting chance of possibly dodging them. That part's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Then they also decided that it would be different for each ship type. So battleships get a longer distance at which the torpedoes don't home than cruisers, and cruisers are longer than destroyers. Aircraft carriers and submarines slot in there somewhere. I actually don't really know exactly how. So for battleships, it's generally 2.1 kilometers, which means if you use homing torpedoes from a submarine, they're going to stop homing when they're 2.1 kilometers away from the battleship. There's a separate number, which is the detection distance for torpedoes. That depends on each submarine. Much like with destroyers, there's a distance at which the enemy will see the torpedo, even if they don't have any other way of spotting it. That's different than the homing number. So at some point they stop homing, and then at another point, around about the same point, but not necessarily exactly the same, they become visible. Great. So far, so good. Here's an interesting fact about the Alliance. Possibly partly because the torpedoes are so slow, the homing torpedoes, the Alliance's homing torpedoes do not use that same number. They get a much better and smaller number, which by default for battleships, for example, is 0.9 kilometers. So the Alliance's homing torpedoes keep homing until 0.9 kilometers away from a battleship, even though every other submarine in the game, they stop homing at 2.1 kilometers. Now, that's just an interesting fact in and of itself, right? Like, why just the Alliance? I mean, there's potentially reasons. They wanted the Alliance to have some interesting gimmick because it's a premium ship, or it was a game balance choice because the torpedoes are so slow, whatever, right? Here's the thing I find really interesting, and by interesting, I mean weird and kind of crappy. Wargaming doesn't tell you this anywhere. So in the UI, they show you the detection distance for torpedoes for every ship in the game. But nowhere do they show this magical, whatever you want to call it, acoustic homing distance. Why not? I have no idea. I guess you could say that maybe it's because they don't want to overwhelm you with numbers, Or maybe in the case of this particular number, they were like, well, it's the same for every single submarine, so why would we show it? Well, except it's not the same for every single submarine. It's different for this submarine. So, okay, you might say, well, they don't want to show too many numbers. They want it to be more of an arcadey thing. Okay, except then in that case, this is a particular trait that distinguishes this ship uniquely. Wouldn't you think that they would want people to know about it? I mean, if for no other reason than just to give you a reason to buy this ship, right? This is one of the assets of this particular ship, is that it has this magical feature that other ships don't have. If you're looking to make a purchasing decision, why wouldn't they want you to know that this is a benefit that this ship has? I have gone back and looked. I have looked through blog posts. I have looked through the UI. I have looked everywhere through official wargaming stuff, and I honestly can't find anywhere where they tell you this. Now, again, it's not a secret. You can find this out by mining the data tables of the game, and people have. And there's YouTube videos about how the Alliance has these torpedoes. One guy calls them magical torpedoes. There's the Wargaming Wiki, which has a quick entry on this about it. None of them really explain it very well, and a few of them actually get it wrong. Several of them say it's half the distance, which is not true. It's normally 2.1, and now it's 0.9, which is actually less than half the distance. But the point is, this information is not available to your casual player or even your intermediate player, like, at all. And by the way, it's not just battleships, right? The homing distance is lower for other classes as well. In a different video, when we have more time, I'm going to talk about how to use sonar, how to use acoustic homing torpedoes. There's some good and bad ways to do this. But I want to stick to the theme of this video, which is just the whole concept of these magic numbers. I don't honestly understand it. Like, if I was making a game and I was relying on people to buy these ships to make money, I would absolutely want them to know. I mean, my personal bias is I would just give them all the numbers. I mean, why not? I don't think it's that overwhelming. But if you don't want to use actual numbers for, game design reasons, for aesthetic reasons, you want it to stay a little fictional, then you say something like, the Alliance is equipped with super acoustic torpedoes, right? Or extra homing capability or something. By the way, I will get off my soapbox for a moment just to comment on this gripping submarine versus submarine gameplay. This is definitely one of the weak links, I think, in the game. It's something I don't think I fully understand exactly what the mechanics are of like homing torpedoes and the way they work against other submarines. Like, also, I don't understand the graphics here. I'm not sure what it's trying to show me. It seemed like there was a ping on this sub, except maybe not. Anyway, I have successfully pinged this guy, and my torpedoes are homing in on him. Pro tip, by the way, in case you ever need this, you can actually choose to turn off your homing. You can hit the G key, and it will cause the homing torpedoes to stop homing, if that's ever a thing you want. Anyway, you can hit other enemy subs with homing torpedoes, and you will do damage to them and kill them. Just FYI. But yeah, so back to my larger point, magical numbers. There's actually a lot of magical numbers in the game. There's drag coefficients. There's the weight of the shells. There's all kinds of different little attributes that ships can have related to their armor and the guns and all kinds of other things that the game just doesn't tell you. It just doesn't show you. By the way, I never like to talk bad about other players' play, but I don't know what in the world my left flank is doing over there. Not sure what's going on. I mean, we are just way out of position generally as a team. But at least we have an excuse, right? We were taking care of our flank, and we did. I mean, I have 3 kills, and my friend here in the battleship helped out a ton. I only have 21,000 damage, but, removing low health targets is a submarine specialty. Anyway, yeah, so just FYI, that is the cool thing about the Alliance. It has this special ability on its homing torpedoes, and it is very cool. It's very powerful. It's definitely a huge thing about acoustic homing torpedoes that I've talked about it in previous videos. If the enemy ship is in a position to be able to maneuver freely and they know what they're doing, they can essentially avoid your torpedoes 100% of the time. Well, that's not true with the Alliance. You might know an Alliance's torpedoes are coming and have room to maneuver, and you still just can't avoid them. Like if you don't have your DCP up and you can't repair, or if you're just in a really unmaneuverable ship, battleship that turns very slowly or is really big, there are sometimes when you just are not going to be able to avoid them, which is a different thing. The Alliance is literally the only submarine in the game that has this feature, as far as I understand. I believe the S1 has something similar, but I think the Alliance's torpedoes are just way, way better. Anyway, unfortunately, that's about all we're going to get done in this game. We got this U-69 on us. He's going to detect us. There were, I didn't mention this, and I should have, there were 3 submarines per side in this game. I always feel bad when I play a submarine for lots of reasons, but one of them is there's just going to be more submarines in the game, like, because you're one of them, so there's just going to be an average of 1 extra submarine. I don't know why there were 3 of them in this game, plus an aircraft carrier. I mean, that's insane. Anyway, that's the Alliance. Should you buy it? Well, I mean, first of all, you have to be the kind of person that enjoys submarines. But if you enjoy submarines and you like acoustic homing torpedoes, then they're the best ones in the game. So, you know, go for it. I think it's a pretty good submarine. I enjoyed this game as much as I enjoy any submarine game. I think it's one of the few submarines where I really appreciate the acoustic homing torpedoes for whatever that's worth. So yeah, that's that, and that's Wargaming and their approach to magic numbers. So I think that's everything interesting. I don't know why I only got 650 experience. I will see you guys in the next one.